Hey, Kerri. Thought I'd shoot a little video for you and just show you how you can set up all this craziness that we have going on with Math 1046. So I'm in D2L. I'm at the home page right now, and I have to figure out where my blended shell is. So you can just search 1178. That's our course term. So it's always a 1. 2017 is the middle term, and then the 8th month. And here's all my courses right now that are listed. Hopefully yours are too. And you can figure out your blended ones because it has a B right there for blended. Like this is an online, but here is a blended course for me. So I'm going to go here, and you can clearly see that we just have nothing. Like there's no content here whatsoever. So a couple of things that we're going to do right off the bat. Number one, let's throw some content in here. So I'm going to go over to Edit Course, and I'm going to use the Import, Export, Copy Components feature. So once I click that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down a little bit and import my components here. Hit Start, and now here's where I can throw in that zip file. And the zip file for you is in OneDrive, and it's the Math 1046 D2L course zip. So you can you can download that, or you can do whatever you want. I just click on it. I'm using Chrome. It's going to start downloading for me. I'm going to click back over here. You could probably just drag it right in once it's ready. So I'm just going to wait. Hey, baby. There it is. So what I'm going to do now, and again, I'm using Chrome. If your download might go somewhere else, but you can. Right here. So that was done spinning around, and we can see that we've imported all our stuff. At this point, we can view our content, or you could throw in another package. Like if you wanted to throw in that refresher stuff, you could go ahead and do that. Just know that when you do it, it all just kind of dumps in at once. So we can we'll have a look at what that means. I'm going to click View Content. Takes us back here, and we can see all this stuff now is just jammed right in there. So every unit is there. The welcome is there. You can kind of go through that, throw up your own course outline. You might want to delete this. This is kind of an old deal. That's old as well. And a broken topic to a discussion that we might have to fix. So you can see this is like a welcome. Again, that's kind of an artifact. You could do it online, but I found that in blended, you don't need to do any discussions. I found the students don't really do it anyway. I tried to do it last time, and it just didn't really work. Under resources, here's some other stuff that you may or may not want to include. Chapter P, that's a PDF, that's a great one. A link to the video database, which is really useful for students. Office 365 stuff, you might want to delete that. And if you do, just click the little arrow and delete the topic right there. Gone, removed, there it is, done. Each of the units, you could probably just leave them as you want to. Now I started with getting started here. P2 came before P1, but I felt it kind of flowed better for the students. Everything is here. All of this stuff is videos. There's practice worksheets here. You can do that optionally. You don't have to mark any of this stuff, unless you want to, of course. Fill your boots. There is a final reflection, which I thought was pretty good. I'll show you how to fix that up in a sec. You can do that as a discussion or as a Dropbox. Okay? Let's click over and check out the grades. Now as we go into Manage Grades, we can see here that we don't really have anything happening. So let's go back to our home page, and we'll sync up with our My Math Lab now. I'm going to click the link, watch for pop-up blockers as always, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Get Started right here. Let's set up a new one. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my course ID, and that's the one that I emailed out, Sims 35595. That's the one with the refresher already built in. You could use any course you want. It's totally up to you. There it is. I'm going to select that. This is for student use. Let's give it a name. Math 1046. You know what I mean? Waterfront. This one's Waterfront. It's a blended for me. You could call it whatever you want. Fall 2017. There we go. Instructors can copy. That's cool for me. I'm going to do from today, obviously, so you can get in and mess around with stuff. And remember, it's always a good idea. You know, the term ends on the 14th, I believe. It's always a good idea to kind of let it rip for a few more days, just so you can get in there and mess around, and you might have some supplemental stuff as well. We're going to create the course, and there it is. It's all done. It takes a few minutes, as you know, so I'll just wait for that email, and I'll show you what we do after that. All right, Kerri, I got the email, so we can close this down anyway. You don't even have to do any of that mess. We'll go back to our course homepage, and it's all set up. It's all there. There's our grade sync. Okay, so if I just click the link again, you know, kind of as per the online type stuff, we're going to go, we have this option for grade sync. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sync the grades right now. Okay, now we can select them all. I'm not really grading on this 2-week refresher kind of stuff, so you could deselect the rest of that. It's not worth the mark. I mean, you could mark them on that, I guess, if you wanted to, but there's no outcomes on that, so I'm not going down that road. So get ready is the first one for me. I'm going to sync grades now. We'll let that go. And you can see it's thinking, it's going down, syncing. So we'll just wait till that's all done. Beautiful. We can close this tab now. And when we go back to our D2L, under grades, here's all of our grades. They're all synced in there. Now it's just a big jumbled mess. So let's start. We're going to create some categories. So I'm going to go up to new, and I'm going to create some categories right here. Now category in D2L is like the breakdown of the marks. So I'm going to do assignments, I'm going to do a final reflection, I'm going to do quizzes and tests. So I'm just going to add those right in. First one, assignments, and I'm going to make my assignments worth 30. Okay, 30% of the mark. And it's up to you here. Like I could manually assign weight, I could distribute weights by points, or I could distribute it evenly across all items. So what that means is 30%, like all the assignments together is going to be 30% of the mark. So I could make it by points. So like, an assignment with 30 questions is weighted a little bit more than an assignment with 20. Or I could just make them all evenly. Like every assignment is worth the exact same amount. So I'm going to go by points, and I'm going to click Save and New because I have a whole bunch more to enter. I'm going to do a final reflection. Final reflection, that one's going to be worth 10, and I'll just manually kind of assign that, or you can just do it evenly if you want. Next one, I'm going to do quizzes. Quizzes are pre-tests, whatever you want to call them. That's going to be 20, and again, those are going to be evenly for me, just my choice. You could do them by weights. It's up to you. I'm choosing to do it evenly. That's the way I like it. And finally, tests. Tests in my math lab. That's going to be 40% of the mark. And that's going to be evenly as well because every test is kind of tied to an outcome. So I'll save and close. And now what I'm going to do, see we have these categories down here. We don't need to make any new items because the items we already synced in from my math lab, but I'll select them all and let's do a bulk edit. And very quickly what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down through this list and I'm going to put each thing in a category. Okay, so Unit 1, Get Ready, that is an assignment. Get Ready Part 2, that is an assignment. The placement, I'll probably delete that. That was a mistake. That shouldn't even be there. That's not worth any marks. Again, assignments, you get the idea. This is probably like watching paint dry, but just go through and give everything a category. Pretest is a quiz, or whatever you want to call them there. That's a quiz. That's a test. And I'll just save just to show you what that looks like. You go through them all, of course. So now underneath all of these categories, my assignments, everything is broken down here, and that totals 30%. And you can see that it's broken down by the weight. So the assignment with 27 questions is worth a little bit more than the assignment with 20 questions. And you just keep going on down through all that stuff as well. Okay, let me pause the video. I'll do the rest, and then we'll come back. All right, buddy, so I did all that. Notice all the extra kind of crap here that wasn't even supposed to come in is up here now. It's not under the assignments. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to delete. Now you can't just click stuff and delete it. You have to do delete first. And I think that's a fail-safe, so you don't just delete everything else. But these three things, I don't want them. We're going to delete all those. Yes, we know what we're doing. That's going to be gone. There we go. Okay, and now you can see our assignments are still a little bit messed up. Like I have some Unit 1 stuff around here, what have you. I have Getting Ready Part 2 before anything else. So what I'm going to do now is you can click on the boxes, or you can just click this whole, the whole thing. But basically, as you go through, you can reorder. So if I click on these and reorder them, here's where I can specify the order that I want. So if I want, Getting Ready Part 2 to be number 1, I can do that, and it automatically switches. So you just go through. It takes a little while. I find I have to do it like a few different times. But, like Unit 5 Part A, I want that to be 23. I don't want that to be 22. And then just make sure it kind of kicks everything else out. You could go down here and just make sure, Unit 1 Pretest A is better than Pretest. That kind of thing. Pretest A, I just did that as a little bit of a chunk for the students. You could delete that as well. In fact, we'll do that as well. So let's go up to delete. Pretest A is gone. Test A is gone. delete, yes. We'll get rid of all that. So once we're happy with this, we get everything kind of nice and neat. We are pretty well ready to rock on with our tests. I'll come back. This is probably not the best, but I'm a little sleep deprived. I'll do that later. What I'm going to do now, this final reflection has nothing in it. So we have 10% of the course with nothing in it yet. I'm going to click on Assessments and Dropbox. And I don't have a folder here. So this one is probably under Discussions. No discussions either. So what we'll do, I'm going to have to create an assignment for that Dropbox folder. Now, again, you could like throw in your own one if you want, but just give me a sec. I'll find the file and we'll put that up. All right, buddy, so I got what I want to post. I just had to copy it over from another file. We're going to go to Discussions, and I have no discussions, so I'm going to make a new forum. We can just call this, discussions, or final discussion if you want. A final discussion. And basically you have some options here. You can allow anonymous posts, which you probably don't want. You don't want to approve anything. But I do want people to start a thread, so they can't really read down and copy first. They have to post first, then they can see what everyone else has posted. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to add a topic. This is our new topic. It's open. Everyone can access it. There it is. Final discussion. I'll just call that the same thing. I'm going to paste in my description what I want them to do. Okay. And again, you can put in some ratings if you want, like a 5-star rating scheme is cool. Students can post and do all that stuff. And what I'm going to do is also add an assessment to this. So under assessment, this is going to be part of our grade item. I'm going to make a new grade item. I'm going to call this our final discussion. Like that, no short name, but I am going to put it in the category of final reflections. Okay, maybe I should call that a final reflection. So there we go. Put that in. It's going to be out of 10. Done. Save. And I'll save and close. Oh, I got to put it. It's out of 10. I'm just going to mark them out of 10. It's usually like a big happy thing, right? You know this. So there's our topic, final discussion, what to post. The students can see that. And if we go back to our grades, we can now see that we have that item that we created right here. And it's out of 10, so we're all happy. There's no notices here that our grade book is out of whack or anything like that. I also, by the way, could have just made a new item right here if I wanted to, but I just did it all at once under the discussions heading. So there you go, buddy. I'm probably going to do a little more reordering in here, make sure everything's happy, and I might put this final reflection down here at the bottom. But other than that, we're pretty well good to go. So under the course home now, what we've done, we've added our content. It's all right here. And by the way, you could add that sifter, or sorry, the 2-week refresher stuff if you wanted to. Just note that it'll put in right here and you can reorder it. We're going to probably fix this link, or I'll just delete that because it's a blended. We don't need to introduce ourselves. Yeah, there it is. It's all good. I can also maybe throw a link in to our last discussion. I should probably do that right here under final. So I'm going to create a link. Sorry, I'm going to add an existing discussion. I'm going to add our final discussion right here. Click it, and there you go. It's right here. It's put in now for the students. So just a little bit of tweaking, buddy, like that. You can go through here. Again, a lot of this stuff is old. I probably should have fixed that, honestly, but, Texidium, we'll delete all that. We'll delete our intro. Again, I tried this last year with the postings in a blended, but no one ever does it. So it's like, why? What's the point? Outline. Probably shoot a video and throw that in there, or don't even worry about it. Just put the course outline and any other information that you want right there. But that's pretty well it, buddy. You can throw some due dates in as well. You know that. It's kind of the same as online. You can just change the due dates if you want. That's totally cool. I hope that was helpful. A little bit long, but if you have any questions, just shoot me an email, okay? Take her easy.